and welcome to another video of the Flowing Dutchman. Now in this video I'd like to talk about one of the more dangerous things that can happen when you swing a mace. And a lot of people have this idea when they see me swing these very heavy weights in these videos. They go, my shoulder just broke, my shoulder dislocated. Well, the shoulder is perfectly capable of reaching behind the head and turning in and out. One time, what happened is that I let the weight go out a bit too much. Since the weight is basically always going away from the body, it's also really important that we think about weight, right? That you go too far with the hands out. An uncomfortable stretch here, and you start to feel that this is not nice. Now, as we talk about safety and mace swinging, it's very important to note and to understand that although a lot of people think that it's actually dangerous or potentially dangerous, it's actually quite safe. And that is something that is really important to understand, because a lot of people have this idea because you're swinging a rod around you with metal or whatever it is, stone, and it's heavy, that it's actually dangerous, and you could potentially hurt yourself, or you could hit yourself against the body, against your head. Whatever fear people have, it's been thrown in the pot of maybe you shouldn't start doing that, or maybe it's more dangerous than other sports or other ways of actually training the body. And yeah, first and foremost, it's not that dangerous. There's not many things that really can go wrong. The shoulder is perfectly capable of reaching behind the head and turning in and out. You can try it yourself. That is basically the range of motion that we're working with. And a lot of people have this idea when they see me swing these very heavy weights in these videos that go viral, like, oh, this is my rotator cuff is dead just by watching this, my shoulder just broke, my shoulder dislocated. Well, your shoulder doesn't dislocate if you pull it behind your head. Furthermore, this is a lack of mobility that a lot of people have. They actually can't reach further back because they're not used to actually getting to this position, and that is actually not healthy. So rather than your rotator cuff actually breaking, this is something that your body should be able to do, and actually that you should be able to load that position too, because your body should be able to hold a weight in this position. And that is really, really important to understand, right? This is something that our body is capable of doing. We shouldn't be too scared of actually going to the posterior chain and moving there. Of course, there are things that can happen. If you have proper technique, the hands are always very far away from the globe, right? Especially if you're just doing standard and traditional style of swinging. This means that where your hands are, the weight is always far away, which means the weight is basically always going away from the body. It's turning around the body and doesn't really come close. So with proper technique, and that is really key here, because with anything that you do, if your technique is poor, you have a big chance of actually hitting yourself. So imagine if you do a deadlift and you lift the weight a meter in front of you. You try to lift the same weight as you could close to the body. Well, that would be actually damaging and hurting. So before you do anything with the mace, make sure you have a proper coach or a proper foundation, proper online course that will teach you techniques of swinging a mace, because that is one of the most important things here that we're doing. So the key thing here is learn properly, learn your techniques and skill, work on your skill, and then move up. Now, for safety, it's also really important that we think about weight, right? Because whenever people start to swing, they usually have this idea, oh, I have a 16 kilogram kettlebell, and now I can swing with 12 kilos with a mace easily. Well, you can't, because it's a different skill, it's a different tool, and the weight is so much further away from your hands. So always start with 4 to 5 kilos. It sounds less, but even the strongest persons alive without proper technique will find a 4 kilogram very challenging, and that's very difficult to understand for people. Now let's go a bit deeper into the specific thing that I feel like is going wrong quite often. It has to do with the position behind the head. I have this video where I'm swinging and attempting to swing this 50 kilogram Gada, which is like 3 years ago. By this point, I only had one day, one try actually, or a few tries, but just that one day to try it out. Usually when I'm in India, I'm doing so many things that I usually don't have time to really spend a lot of time in the same place, so I'm kind of moving from place to place. And I had just one day there, and I tried that weight, and the jump was actually from 35 to near 50 kilos. So the jump was enormous. It was almost impossible. However, I was able to swing it, lift it up, swing it behind my back. But one time, what happened is that I let the weight go out a bit too much. So what I mean with that is I allowed my hands to go a bit too far out. You can see it in the video here pretty well. And that's actually when I felt something in my shoulder, not really nice. So that is, yeah, that's something that happened. And after that I was like, yeah, I probably don't want to try this anymore. I don't want to come back the next day to try this again. It just feels like I have to, yeah, I kind of have to let that go. And it wasn't hurt or anything, but not much. But I could just feel it whenever I stretched. I could feel something in, you know, the rotator cuff muscles where I was like, yeah, that doesn't feel right. So there's a possibility that if you swing, and especially if you go too heavy, that you go too far with the hands out. And what's really important to understand here is that the hands, you're in a safe position here, right? When the hand is locked behind the head and when you can load the weight on top of your lat. So you're not holding it up with your tricep, you're not trying to keep it here with the elbow because that's just too much strain. So you want to lift and then maintain here this position. Now your shoulder likes this. It's okay with this position. What it doesn't like is when you go too far out of the head. You can just try to get your hand here. Now there's actually an uncomfortable stretch here and you start to feel that this is not nice. So if you see behind the head, this is actually not a nice position to be. Your hand goes too far to the side and there's no control. So whenever people start to swing, this can happen where they try to create momentum from moving the hand side to side, and this is very dangerous. We don't want to have this. So what we do want is have a control and fixed position, right? From here you can actually start to swing up and use control, right? So this is safe. This is unsafe for your shoulders. Okay, so again, one of those little nitty things that is really important when you think about your Mace technique and Mace swing, which is often overlooked. But again, it is all about knowledge, and in that sense, it's really important to find a proper coach, find a proper system, because then you can actually learn how to do this properly. All right. So if you want to learn more about this, we have an instructor course and also an online version, so you can do it from anywhere in the world. But we also have a live certification weekend, and in this certification we do for all the basic and important two-handed swings. We have all the common errors laid out. You get a complete system of how you actually can target this, how you would be able to instruct someone else, but also, you know, you learn a lot about your own swings in that way. And we really dive deep into all these little nuances and little parts of swings that are just key in understanding, but also perfecting the swing. And then eventually you'd be able to give that to others too. So you get someone to that place of a perfect balanced swing where they can move up in weight fast and quickly. And that is the goal whenever you're teaching something like this. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, there's more to come. So I'll see you in another video, and maybe check out our online courses at dutchflowacademy.com. Be highly appreciated. Put a lot of work in them, and I think the quality is exceptional. And yeah, bye-bye. Have you ever experienced stiff shoulders or a shoulder injury? The Mace 360 can solve those for you. The Mace 360 is one of the most important exercises you can do with the Mace, as it highlights all the unique aspects that separates the Mace from all the other fitness tools. It teaches you how to add coordination, balance, timing, agility, and a lot more to an upper body strength and conditioning workout. The 360 swing, however, is not the easiest movement to master. Some people take years to master it. That is now history with the 7-day 360 Masterclass. In 7 days you'll learn the most important details and specialized movements in order for you to master the 360. In every video we'll use courses from Dutch Flow Academy that highlight different aspects of the Mace 360. This method will blow your mind with its intelligence and effectiveness. This masterclass will bring you a professional and well put together course that will bring back joy and freedom in movement. Gain free access now on DutchFlowAcademy.com. Thank you for your attention, it's greatly appreciated. If you like the content, please consider to share, like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to see similar videos, you can see them over here. If you're interested in learning more from me as a coach, I've got online courses on DutchFlowAcademy.com. Keep flowing, Ram Ram.